All right, let's dive into something pretty mind-blowing. We're going to unpack the core ideas from Dr. Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. And it all boils down to this. What if you had the power to create a reality that, right now, seems totally impossible? It's all about a simple formula, combining a clear intention with a powerful, elevated emotion. That's the key that can literally change your world.
Right off the bat, this quote just flips everything we've been taught on its head. When we hear supernatural, we think of ghosts or something outside of us, right? But this book argues that it's actually our birthright. It's a potential that's locked inside our own biology, just waiting for us to figure out how to access it.
To really get a feel for what this means, we've got to go back in time, way back. Picture this, it's 8 centuries ago, high up in the Himalayas, in this remote cave. A legendary yogi and mystic named Milarepa has gathered his students.
See, he wasn't just there to give them a lecture. He wanted to give them a real, tangible experience, something that would prove to them that the so-called laws of the physical world weren't nearly as solid as they believed.
So, in front of all his students, Milarepa just calmly walks over to the side of the cave, he takes a breath, and he places his palm flat against that cold, hard stone. And then he just pushed. The rock gave way, becoming soft, almost like clay under his hand. And when he pulled it back, he'd left a perfect, deep handprint inside the stone itself. It was physical proof that our inner world, our beliefs, can literally shape and overcome our outer reality.
Okay, so a story from 800 years ago. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But let's bring this idea right into the modern day with the story of a woman named Anna. She shows us what happens when we're trapped not by stone walls, but by the prison of our own past.
So, in 2007, Anna's world just completely shattered. Her husband tragically took his own life. The shock was immense, and then, right on top of that, she discovers he'd left her with a mountain of debt. The emotional stress started to take a physical toll. Within 9 months, she literally woke up paralyzed. Then came the depression, and finally, a devastating cancer diagnosis. Her body was just breaking down under the weight of it all.
So what on earth was going on here? Well, according to the book, Anna was living in what's called chronic survival mode. You know, that fight-or-flight response? The constant grief, fear, and shock were flooding her system with stress hormones. The problem is, that system is designed for short emergencies, not for being on 24/7. When it's always on, we can literally get addicted to the chemistry of crisis. Her thoughts about her past were sending signals that were making her body sick.
After her very first chemotherapy session, Anna hit absolute rock bottom. She collapsed on the floor, just sobbing, and had this horrifying realization that if things kept going this way, her kids would lose both their parents. And in that moment of complete and total surrender, she made a choice.
And this brings us to the most important question, doesn't it? For her and for any of us. How do you possibly pull yourself out of a situation like that? When every single piece of evidence in your life is screaming that it's a disaster, where do you even begin? What she did next is absolutely crucial. First, she just surrendered. She gave up control. Second, she made a powerful commitment to live in a state of gratitude. And third, and this is the real game changer, she started to mentally rehearse her new future. During meditation, she didn't just think about being healthy. She started generating the actual feeling of joy, of wholeness, teaching her body, on a cellular level, what this new reality felt like long before there was any physical proof of it.
Now, I know this might sound a little like wishful thinking, but there's some incredible, hard science that explains exactly what was happening inside her body. It all comes down to the biology of 2 totally different ways of being.
So over here on the left, you've got the stress state. That's where Anna was living. Her body was stuck in fight or flight, pumped full of cortisol. That weakens the immune system and literally signals genes for health to turn off. But on the right, you have the elevated state that she was practicing. Now the body's in rest and repair mode. Feel-good hormones like oxytocin are flowing, the immune system gets stronger, and, get this, it actually signals your good genes to turn on. She was literally changing her genetic destiny with her feelings.
Okay, but is this stuff, measurable? Can you really create a physical, biological change just by focusing on good feelings for a few minutes a day? Well, a study in the book was designed to find out exactly that.
And the answer was a resounding yes. Researchers measured this key immune protein called immunoglobulin A, or IgA. After just 4 days,
4 days, of participants practicing these elevated emotions for 10 minutes, 3 times a day, their IgA levels shot up by an average of almost 50%. That is a massive upgrade to your body's front line of defense.
So, knowing what we know now about the science, let's go back to Anna. By constantly and deliberately shifting her internal state, she wasn't just coping with her stress, she was actively, biologically, creating a brand new reality for herself. 1 year and 9 months after her diagnosis, the tumor was completely gone. The paralysis healed. All her other autoimmune symptoms vanished. Even her saliva production, which had been destroyed by her medication, came back to normal. She didn't just survive, she completely rebuilt herself from the inside out. Anna's story is a profound example of healing, for sure, but the book makes it really clear that this principle isn't limited to just getting healthy. You can apply it to creating a new job, a new relationship, really any potential future you can possibly imagine. Take the story of Dr. Dispenza's own son, Jace. He'd been traveling the world, came home, ran out of money, and needed a job. When he called his dad for help, instead of getting a handout, he got this piece of advice. It was a challenge, really, to step into what he called the unknown and create from a place of pure possibility, not from panic.
And Jace actually did it. Every day, he meditated not on how to find a job, but on the feeling of having a job he was passionate about. The creativity, the excitement, the abundance. And get this, he didn't send out a single resume, didn't make one phone call. Then one day, he just wanders into a surf shop, strikes up a conversation, and happens to meet the world's top surfboard fin designer, who just so happened to be looking for an engineer. The opportunity literally found him.
So how does this happen? A spontaneous healing? A dream job that just appears out of thin air? It all sounds a bit like magic. But according to the book, Anna and Jace weren't just lucky. They were tapping into the fundamental operating system of the universe, the quantum field.
So try to imagine the quantum field as this invisible web of energy and information that connects absolutely everything. It's not empty space, it's pure potential. It contains the energy for every single possible reality. So the version of you that's perfectly healthy, the version of you with that dream job, they already exist as possibilities in this field. The trick is learning how to tune your own energy to match the frequency of the reality you want to experience.
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway of the whole thing. Think of it this way. Your thoughts are like the electrical charge you send out into the field, and your feelings are the magnetic charge that draws things to you. When you combine a clear intention, the thought, with an elevated emotion, the feeling, you create this powerful electromagnetic signal. By feeling the gratitude for your healing before you're healed, or the joy of your new job before it arrives, you are literally drawing that reality right to you. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the creator of your world.
So, this leaves us with one final, really powerful question to ask ourselves. Whether we know it or not, every single day, we are all mentally rehearsing something. Maybe it's worry, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's joy. The real question is, what future are you rehearsing, and what new reality are you ready to create?